everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Hang on. What happened to Hailey Upton's original replacement in Chicago PD Season 12? Once NBC announced that Tracy Spiridakos was leaving Chicago PD after Season 11, the show hunted for her character's replacement, but Hailey Upton's first successor didn't stick around for long. Many Chicago PD characters have come and gone over the course of the police procedural's 12 seasons, from Sophia Bush as Erin Lindsay to John Seda as Antonio Dawson. Numerous stars have exited the series, meaning the makeup of the intelligence unit constantly changes. Unfortunately, the squad lost one more member during the Chicago PD Season 11 finale. Spiridakos Upton left Chicago PD after Season 11. During the finale, Upton and Hank Voight decide that the best thing for her would be to quit intelligence and move out of Chicago. Upton had been struggling since her husband, Jay Halstead, left her. Voight knew that Upton, who had become like a daughter figure to him, needed a change. Even though Voight certainly didn't want Upton to go, he pushed her to, so she did. Just like that, intelligence was down one detective, and many assumed that one new character introduced in Chicago PD Season 11 would fill that vacancy. Chicago PD Season 11, Episode 7, The Living and the Dead, introduced Bojana Novakovic as Josephine Joe Petrovic. Voight recruited Joe, an SVU detective and profiler, to help intelligence with a serial killer case. In Episode 8, Upton called on Joe for assistance once more. Joe returned again in Episode 10, which featured Upton discovering that the new Chicago PD character was an alcoholic. Upton helped Joe get sober by the end of Chicago PD Season 11, and it really felt like the show was setting up Novakovic as Spiridakos' replacement in the cast of the One Chicago show. Joe worked closely with Upton, and it would only be natural if she took her spot in intelligence. However, when Chicago PD Season 12 premiered, Joe was gone. Viewers learned during the Chicago PD Season 12 premiere that Emily Martell replaced Upton in the intelligence unit. Unfortunately, Martell died at the end of the episode, resulting in Voight searching for another new detective for the squad. A few episodes later, Kim Burgess took the detective's exam and was appointed Upton's official successor. All the while, Joe is nowhere to be seen. It's unclear what happened to Joe and why she didn't take Upton's place in Season 12. Despite showrunner Gwen Sagan telling TV Line that she loved Petrovic on the show in Season 11 and thought there's so much depth to that character, they decided not to bring Bojana Novakovic back. Perhaps Joe will return in a future Chicago PD episode, but in the meantime her whereabouts are unknown. When Season 12 of Chicago PD hit our screens, fans were braced for a big change. After all, with Hailey Upton, played by Tracy Spiridakos, confirming her departure, viewers had been prepared to welcome a new face into intelligence. Social media buzzed with casting news months before the premiere, touting the addition of a new female detective, a supposed badass with a past, who would bring fresh tension to Voight's already complicated unit. But then, nothing. One minute she was there in press releases and set photos, and the next, vanished without explanation. So what did happen to Upton's supposed replacement? And why did Chicago's toughest unit suddenly act like no one was ever coming to fill her shoes? Let's break it down, both in the world of Chicago PD and behind the scenes. The press release that sparked it all. It all started last summer, when Deadline and TV Line reported that a new series regular was being cast to step into intelligence following Upton's departure. The role? Detective Nora Reyes. Described as emotionally guarded, fiercely intelligent, and burdened by a traumatic case in her past, Reyes was going to clash with Ruzek, go toe-to-toe with Voight, and maybe, just maybe, melt a little when she bonded with Burgess. There were even grainy set photos of an actress, rumored to be someone from a recently cancelled crime drama, walking behind LaRoyce Hawkins and Jason Begg on a wintry Chicago street. Fans on Reddit speculated, could this be a slow-burn Ruzek-Reyes romance, or a reluctant mentor-mentee arc with Voight? By the time the Season 12 trailer dropped, though, Reyes was nowhere to be seen. Episode 1. A Missing Piece. Season 12, Episode 1 gave us Upton's emotional farewell. She turned in her badge, gave a tearful goodbye to Burgess, and exchanged a quiet, loaded glance with Voight. As the elevator doors closed behind her, fans waited for the next scene. Suddenly, the intelligence unit was operating short-handed, with Ruzek still recovering from his near-death experience, Atwater stepping up as acting second-in-command, and Burgess juggling motherhood with fieldwork. When Platt mentioned we're still waiting on the new transfer, it seemed like Reyes might still show up. Spoiler, she never did. The in-universe disappearance. By episode 3, Voight casually told Atwater, "Forget that transfer, it's not happening. We do this the way we always have, tight and focused." And just like that, the would-be replacement was erased from the narrative. No Reyes, no explanation, just a quiet pivot back to the core team. Some fans shrugged it off. Others, especially on fan forums and Twitter, OKX, weren't letting it go. "Hang on, what happened to Reyes?" One user posted, "They built her up like she was gonna be the next Lindsay/Upton hybrid, and now she's vaporized." Another wrote they should have just given Burgess or Atwater a promotion arc instead of teasing a new character that never showed. The mystery deepened. Behind the scenes, what we think happened. Sources close to the production have hinted that Reyes was cast, and even filmed scenes for the first 2 episodes. However, in a surprise turn, showrunner Gwen Sigan reportedly changed direction in post-production, deciding that less was more. There was a feeling in the room, one source told a fan site, that the emotional weight of Upton's departure would be undercut if they introduced someone new too quickly, so they shelved it, maybe for good. Rumors also swirled about creative differences between the actress originally cast as Reyes and the producers, or possibly even scheduling conflicts that made continuing the arc impossible. Others suggest that NBC brass didn't want to risk alienating fans still grieving Upton's exit. Whatever the reason, it looks like Reyes joined the ranks of TV characters who were almost a thing. Right next to Chicago Fire's vanished paramedic Jana Mackey, and that mysterious love interest for Jay Halstead, who disappeared after 1 episode. A narrative shift, back to basics? In truth, Season 12 has taken a surprisingly character-driven approach, digging into long-standing dynamics rather than introducing new ones. Burgess and Ruzek's family life has taken center stage. Atwater has wrestled with moral dilemmas and leadership decisions, and Voight, he's more haunted than ever. By keeping the intelligence unit tight, Chicago PD may have decided that less really is more, especially in a season already marked by transition. And maybe, just maybe, they're saving the big new hire for a more organic introduction later. But wait, could Reyes still show up? Here's the twist. Eagle-eyed fans did spot something strange in a background shot from episode 5. A woman in a long trench coat with a detective badge clipped to her belt was seen walking past Platt's desk. No lines, no name, but she wasn't a background extra from previous seasons. Coincidence or a breadcrumb? Some fans believe the show is planting seeds for a mid-season surprise. After all, Chicago PD has pulled bait and switches before. Like the time Jay Halstead's departure seemed final, only for his name to pop up in voiceovers weeks later. Maybe Detective Reyes is still coming, she's just biding her time. Final verdict, where's Reyes? So hang on, what did happen to Hailey Upton's original replacement in Chicago PD Season 12? The answer seems to be, she was real. But her story was paused, whether due to last-minute rewrites, casting shakeups, or a creative decision to honor Upton's legacy. Detective Reyes never made it past the cutting room floor, at least not yet. And in true One Chicago fashion, maybe that's okay. Sometimes it's not about who joins the team, but about the ones who stay, and the way they carry the weight of those who left. Still, if that woman by Platt's desk was Reyes, you can bet fans will be watching closely. Because in Chicago, no one ever disappears without a story.